I made £20,000 this month as a barber without doing one haircut. Now it's a little bit surreal because take me back 6 months earlier in this year and my only income stream was cutting hair. I was probably making £4,000 a month, which is okay, but I didn't become a barber to be average. I became a barber because I wanted to take advantage of being self-employed and build a legit business for myself and become financially free. And to be honest, I think that's the goal that majority of barbers set out with, but as the reality of barbering kicks in, as the days get busier and busier, trust me, I've been there, it takes the life out of you, and eventually these dreams end up getting crushed. Now, what is the point of me making this video? You might think it's to flex, to show off how much I'm making, but it's really not the case. If you're a barber watching this video, I want you to be completely honest with yourself with these questions I'm gonna face you with. Because trust me, before you go about the actual techniques and methods you're gonna use to make this sort of money, if your attitude towards success as a whole is off, then you've lost the battle before you've even started, to be honest. So firstly, I just wanna ask you, how did it make you feel when I said that I'd hit this £20,000 month? Did it piss you off? Did it make you salty? And I want you to be honest with yourself because, trust me, there was a time where for me, I would have got pissed off at this. I would have got salty. I would have clicked off the video and thought, oh, this guy got lucky. This guy's got access to resources that I don't have. You know, this was me only 1 year ago. I'd opened up my studio. I was always fully booked as a barber, cutting hair 5 days a week. I got myself to the place where at one point I would have thought that I've made it. You know, I'm fully booked out. I'm charging 25, 30 pounds for my haircut. I've built up an okay social media following. But in reality, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was a bit salty. I'd look at other barbers' success and think, oh, you know, they're in a different location to me. That's why they're more successful. They've got access to things that I potentially don't have access to. I was reluctant to invest in myself because I assumed that every, online guru was a scam and no one actually knows what they're talking about. There is no method. It's about hard work. It's about cutting hair all day, every day, grinding. But in reality, we know that, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, it is the literal definition of insanity. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. And eventually I got to the point where I realized that, something has to change. I need to try something new because I've been doing the same thing for 2 years, 3 years now. And clearly it's got me to a point that I don't want to be at. So maybe let's try something new. So I humbled myself and I threw £5,000 at a social media content mentor. Now, up until this point, I like to think that I was pretty clued up with social media. I already knew what I was doing. I built myself to 70,000 followers. Why would I need someone to teach me what I'm already good at? But it turned out that this attitude was the very thing that had been holding me back. I thought I knew it all. I thought I could do it myself. But what I had to realize was if I could do it myself, then why hadn't I already done it myself? There had to be a reason. There had to be something missing. And it turns out the thing missing was a lack of strategy. I was doing so much guesswork, so much trial and error that I was wasting so much time. And if I noticed this sooner, then I would have actually invested in myself way earlier in my barber career. So the number one mistake I made was definitely thinking that I knew it all and thinking that I didn't need help. Because the sooner you can admit that you need help, is the sooner that you're actually going to find a fix to your problems. So me and the mentor that I paid got to the point where we were speaking a lot and we became pretty good friends. And eventually we got onto the topic of finances. And he revealed to me that he was making multiple 6 figures a month, 100K a month, 200K a month. Now, this was the first time that I'd ever heard of this sort of money. I didn't think this was necessarily possible, unless you've inherited this money, unless you owned a multi-million-dollar corporation. I didn't think it was possible. But this guy teaches barbers how to use social media and he makes this sort of money. Now, there's 2 ways I could have reacted to this. Number one, I could have thought that, I've put money in this guy's pockets as well. I've paid him 5 grand. Why have I funded this sort of lifestyle for him? And I could have got pissed off. I could have got salty about it. But instead, this was the most inspiring thing I've ever heard. And this one conversation I had changed my life. Because this guy used to be a barber and he was younger than me. He was 20. And he was making 6 figures a month. And the key part is that I truly believed that I could do this as well. I saw him as no different as me. Because trust me, people that are mega successful, they're no different to you. Oftentimes, if you meet someone who's hyper successful, you're going to be underwhelmed when you meet them in person. That's the reality of it. You're going to be underwhelmed when you meet celebrities, underwhelmed when you meet influencers, millionaires. Why? Because we build up this narrative in our head that they're going to be this sort of superhuman. But then we meet them and we realize that, oh, this guy is the exact same as me. How the fuck has he done that? And yeah, at the point I've realized that everything this guy's done, I can also achieve. He's no different to me. When I realized this, it was a rocket up my arse. It was exactly what I needed. Because this is the point where becoming rich actually felt possible for myself. I've always wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to make a lot of money. But in terms of what I'm actually going to do to get there, I've never really known. But this conversation gave me such clarity and made it seem 100% possible for someone like myself, just a young barber who's willing to take a couple risks. So the second big point I'd make is please do not let other people's success piss you off. Because look, let's put it like this. The only reason that someone else's success would piss you off is because you don't truly believe you can be successful. That is the only reason. Think about it. If you fully believed that you can get into the position of someone you're speaking to who's hyper successful, you wouldn't feel any resentment towards them. You wouldn't feel salty at all. You'd feel inspired. You'd feel motivated. You'd feel ready to take a couple risks and throw yourself in the deep end. And that's the third question I want you to ask yourself. Do you truly believe that you can be successful? I speak to a lot of barbers on a daily basis, and it's more common than not for barbers to tell me they want to get rich, they want to build this business, which is absolutely fine. You absolutely can. But I can also tell that a lot of people don't genuinely believe that they can do it. A lot of people like to play into the fantasy of, I want to be rich, I want to be successful. But when it comes to actually putting in the work, taking the steps to get there, taking a couple risks, actually taking action, no one wants to do it. The truth is, majority of barbers play off the dopamine they get from telling people about all their major plans. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start, but it's not the right time yet. But the reality is, that attitude is the exact reason why you haven't reached your goals as a barber. A lot of people throw around the idea of 10K months. That's kind of like the glamorized thing on social media. Everyone wants to be making 5 figures a month. But when you look at it statistically, this is a top 1% income. Which, obviously, if it's top 1% income, means that 99% of people fail. 99% of people can't do it. So if you think you're going to be successful with this attitude, I'm not going to start yet, I'm going to wait for the perfect time. I haven't got access to this, I haven't got the resources for that. It's never going to come, unfortunately. And if you're a barber who's 5 years or less into their career, please take in what I'm saying, because you're going to learn this sooner or later. And trust me, the earlier you learn it, the better. Let's take my client Johnny, for example. He was 15 when he came to me and wanted help with social media and marketing himself as a barber. But the most significant part of this was the fact that he was 15 years old and he recognized that he actually needed help. He'd rather learn off someone who's made the mistakes and has a proven formula than try and guess it. Because trust me, out of all of the barbers that I've spoken to, he's the only one that would actually have a valid reasoning for saying, I want to try it myself first. Because he's 15. So who am I to tell him that I think, he can't do it on his own? Who am I to tell him that? I wasn't even a barber at 15. But it's the fact that he was humble enough to come to me and actually ask for help. He recognized that he wanted to follow a proven structure and not waste time. This is the exact reason that I knew he was going to be successful, without a doubt. There was no doubt in my mind. And trust me, a lot of people could learn from Johnny. Now, if what I said in this video resonated with you at all, or you found any value from what I've said, my calendar is open at the minute and I'm taking free strategy sessions with barbers who do want to utilize social media to actually scale their business. Because if you've taken in what I've said in this video and we're on the same page somewhat, you do have what it takes to be successful. It can happen a lot quicker than you think. For me, I'm living a completely different reality to what I was, say, 6 months ago. You can click the link in the description and I might even have some availability for this week. If you actually want to make 2026 your year, I'll speak to you soon. Smash.